the past, and there's often been difficult challenges like this. I'm confident we're going to win. There's no question in my mind. In the end, the drug war will fall upon its own weight. I think we're lucky to have some advantages in that. I think the biggest one is the truth is on our side, and we spend a lot of our time getting the facts out. If you look at our website, www.csdp.org, what you'll see on the website is a fact book. You'll see our advertising campaign, very factually heavy material, really make it clear the facts are on our side. We have morality on our side. Putting somebody in jail for something they use is certainly not something Jesus would do. Allowing someone to get a disease like AIDS, we know how to prevent it, would be something that's immoral. It's the current system that's funding the criminals. It's the current approach that's making the cartels and the street gangs wealthy. It's the current approach that's causing the violence in the streets. So we have the morality on our side. And the other thing I think that's very helpful is the information technology that's now available. I think this kind of a cable TV show, for example, wouldn't have been possible 5 years ago. And then you have the whole web, and the potential for information distribution, for organizing people, for common joint efforts focused on different strategies for reformers to work together more cohesively. We have lots of advantages that the previous social progressive efforts, whether it's race, sex, whatever, gender, didn't have.
But here's what strikes me. I mean, the wisdom and the enlightenment of what you and your associates bring to the table is to me, it's obvious.
Right.
But the fact is, the players, the legislators, the politicians, and the people who are running this country, I can't name, other than Gary Johnson in New Mexico and Barney Franks and a handful of others. I can't name that many.
Yeah, but you could look at it that way, but you could also look at it as, in the last 2 election cycles, we've won 7 states, and the District of Columbia has voted for various aspects of reform. And it's not just medical marijuana, it's also treating all drugs as a health problem around the criminal justice problem. Arizona has voted twice to stop putting drug possession cases in jail. In Oregon, the issue of whether or not marijuana should be a criminal offense came up because the legislators, by 2 to 1, voted to make marijuana possession a criminal offense. It's been decriminalized since 1973. Last 2 years ago, the Republicans took control. It was a socially conservative wing of the Republican Party that took control, and they voted to make marijuana possession criminal. And in Oregon, they have a referendum approach where the legislation can be challenged, and you get signatures, and it was challenged. And by 2 to 1, the people voted no. We're not going to make marijuana criminal. So I think there's signs that the people are waking up. People are ahead of the politicians. There'll be more initiatives and votes this year on other issues that'll show you more support. And you're starting to see politicians, as you mentioned, Gary Johnson, Jesse Ventura, the Black Caucus, the liberal wing, the progressive wing of Congress is starting to speak out. We even have a Republican running for the Senate, the leading Republican running for the Senate in California, Tom Campbell, who's currently a congressman, and he is in his fundraising letters during a primary talking about legal heroin. At editorial board meetings during the Republican primaries, a very conservative Republican Party in California, he's talking about legal heroin because of the way to reduce crime, pointing to the Swiss study I mentioned earlier, how it has cut crime by 50%. And so for a politician to run against Dianne Feinstein on that issue is very important, and particularly a Republican who he's pro-choice, he's pro-gun control, so he's not going to have that fight with Dianne Feinstein. It's a fight instead on the drug issue. Dianne Feinstein is an extremist, drug war hawk. Tom Campbell is a realist, moderate on the drug issue, and has been right on needle exchange, been right on mandatory sentencing, right on medical marijuana, and he's also right on legal heroin.
Kevin, would you mind just elucidating a little bit about what's taken place with the issue of medical marijuana for the people back in Louisville who probably, many of whom have little awareness of...
Well, the medical marijuana issue has gotten a lot of attention recently, but the reality is this has been a 30-year struggle. I got involved in the medical marijuana issue back in 1978 when I was a law student, and it was one of the first cases I worked on at Normal, and I stayed involved in that case for over 10 years. In the end, we got the chief of the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, to rule in our favor. He ruled that, in fact, marijuana was a valuable medicine, that the federal government was wrong to block patient access to it. People are suffering, they need to have this medicine. Unfortunately, an administrative law judge's ruling is only a recommendation, and the final decision is made by the head of the agency, who's a political appointee, and of course, was the DEA, clearly a drug war hawk, so he ruled to keep marijuana illegal. But having the chief judge of the DEA, the guy who gets his paycheck from the DEA every week, rule in our favor was a big step. And it provided a foundation, I think, for us to build this current effort. And polls show over 65% support for medical marijuana. The research clearly shows marijuana is a safe and effective medicine, particularly for cancer patients, AIDS patients, glaucoma, and muscle spasm-related illnesses. Those are the three areas